Creative minds, welcome to Those Fashions Academy TV. Today we are going to be drafting the basic block sloper from our draft the essential right series, which is the pattern power, for the 5 basic blocks. So we are going to be drafting this here right now, and this particular one is the basic, which can be transformed into so many other dresses, top, jackets, whatever you want to use it, because it is all purpose. So right here, these are the measurements I'm going to be using here: the shoulder, the bust circumference, the underbust, the waist, the hip, the arm circle, the bust span. And then for the vertical measurements, those are the measurements there. If you don't know how to do your measurements very well, kindly look into the comment section and see how all these measurements are divided, where you learn how to do your measurement calculations effectively. Yes, that's the foundation. You don't want to miss it, so just go there right now and do your calculation. As we get started into these drafts, can you see how the draft is looking? Look at the draft. So that is what we are doing right now. So from the video, you're going to be seeing the measurements. You're going to be dividing by 4, and those you are to be divided by 2, and then how to put your measurements on your pattern draft. So let's get started with this project right now. So I'm going to be drafting this right now. Ready? Let's go. So right there I have my paper. Great. So this is the paper I'm going to be using, and then I'm going to be plotting both the front and the back bodies on this paper right here. And then I have the paper that is about 36 inches, the wideness, then the depth is about 27 inches. So from then now, we are going to be starting from the first process. There is an approach to drafting your basic bodice pattern. Now I try as much as possible to make this tutorial. So this is a tutorial that is made in the sense that a 5-year-old can watch and also draft this. Yes, it is super easy to follow through. So right now we are going to be putting our margin lines. So this is the margin lines I'm drawing right there. So the margin line is just going to be serving as a starting line. So the margin line is about probably like 1 cm away from the edge of the paper. So I plot in the margin line both for the length and the breadth of the paper. So now the first approach for getting your basic bodice pattern guide, it is for you to draw your horizontal lines. That's the first approach, your horizontal lines. Now your question is, what are the horizontal lines? So your horizontal lines are your shoulder, your chest, your bust, your underbust, your waist, then like that. So then now I've gone ahead to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 8 inches. That is why I mark 8 inches there. So and then I'm going to be slanting this by 1 inch. Your shoulder is not straight, right? It should be slant. So slant your shoulder by about 1 inch. You can also do 0.5, but I do 1 inch because I put 0.5 for my back. I also slant the back. So here we are still working with the front. So now from your starting line, measure down your nipple point. That is your bust line. Now measure your underbust line. Yeah. Now go ahead and measure your waistline. I am changing to pencil, not the marker, so I can see the lines very well. I continue with the pencil. Then your top length. So those are your lines. These are the vertical lines you need for this right there. So that is the distance. So also go ahead and mark it and go on and on and on and on like that. So this will help you to perfect your line so that your line will not be bent. So you can do it like in 2 or 3 places. Just do those lines in 2 or 3 places like that. Like I said, your shoulder to your bust, your shoulder to your underbust, your shoulder to your waist, your top length, your hem allowance. So those are the lines you're going to be working with. So when you are done doing that, so rightly go ahead and then plot those lines out. Yes, so go ahead now and plot the lines out. If you have watched our video on how to take your measurements accurately and then on how to calculate your measurement, you're going to know what these measurements are for, as in how it is measured on the body and how the calculation is done, and then some standard measurements you can use when you are plotting all this. If you have not watched any of this video, I will advise, go ahead, just stop this watching this video now. Go ahead and take your measurements perfectly well, and also do your calculation well to know where to plot some certain numbers and that. Okay, so don't forget. Now go ahead and label your pattern, your lines very well. It is very important, so you don't want to confuse yourself. So on this here right now, we have the shoulder, we have the bust, we have the under bust, we have the waist, we have the top length, and then we have the M allowance. The only line that is missing now, where we're going to plot in our horizontal measurement on, which is the vertical line now, it is the chest line. Your chest line, you're going to go up from your bust line about 2 inches. You can do 1.5. Sometimes it's aligned using 1.5, and sometimes it is just 2 inches. So you can just go ahead and do 2 inches. So here I'm doing 2 inches. So that is going to now serve for my armhole. That is where my armhole line is going to be falling. So we are now going to go ahead and draw there and square down your armhole. So like I said, learn how to label your pattern that very well. So I have all my lines completely, right? Yes. So the next thing we want to do is now the shoulder slope. We see with which we've done that. We've done the shoulder slope, the shoulder slant. So from that slant now, you're going to be square down to your chest line. Is this not really looking interesting? You can see your bodice is forming already. Like I said, this is super easy. It is a DIY body that you can go onto. So now we are going to neckline. So for your neckline, it is divided by 12. That is your bust circumference. So 3 by 3 inches for this neckline that I'm using here now. So you square it, so you come down and then you go up. So that is it. So I've already outlined this, and then I square it 3 inches on your shoulder slope. Then you also come down by 3 inches. So 3 by 3 for your neckline. So after squaring this, I just went ahead and then I do the cuff part of this. Now perfect. So we have that right there now. So the next thing we want to do now is to, after drawing your neckline, which is bust circumference divided by 12, don't forget, is to do your armhole curve. So you want to create a curve from your armhole. So get the half part of your armhole. So I have about 8 inches there, and then divide by 4. So you go inside by half an inch to curve in your armhole, to form your armhole curve. Okay, so after your neckline, it is your armhole. So I want to curve in my armhole curve. So at the mid of that line of the armhole, which I square down to the chest line, I put half an inch there. I went in by half an inch, and then I'm going to be using my marker to outline this out for you to see this very well. Perfect. So this is looking amazing. So this is it now. So that is for my armhole now. So the next thing we are now going to be drawing now is to now mark our bust line. Yes, we are going to be putting our bust palm, which is nipple to nipple distance, is also called your bust palm. So it's going to be divided by 2 as well. So it is 8 inches I'm using for this pattern here, and divided by 2 it is 4 inches. So I have 4 inches there. So your bust palm, you're going to be putting your dart line for your bust palm on you're going to be doing that on your bust, your under bust, then to your waist. So from your waist to your bust, then to your under bust. So like I have it there now. So I have my bust palm. So right now, let's go ahead and insert our dart. So your dart intake also vary. So if you're working with a small measurement, your dart intake is 1 inch. So you're going to be doing half an inch on both sides of that bust palm line that you have there, which is on nipple to nipple distance divided by 2. So your dart intake for small is 1. Your dart intake for medium, it's 1.5. That's 1.5 divided by 2 is 0.75 on both sides, and that is what I'm doing there because I'm working with a medium measurement. And then your bust palm for large is 2 inches. You're going to be doing 1.0, 1.0. So this will help to contour the bust very well. So if you have a bust that is on the last side, do 2.0. So then you connect down to your bust line. Not exactly on your bust line. Come down on your bust line by about half an inch. And you can also do 2 cm, okay, from your bust line. So don't put it exactly on the bust line. So this helps the dart to be taken very well and not to allow it to affect or or to affect the dart when you're taking it. So for this project now, this is going to be a double pointed dart. Now what do we call a double pointed dart? A double pointed dart can also be called you can call it a contour or fish eye dart. Now this particular dart, it's that is its pointed. You can see it's looking like a fish eye. It's pointed from the waist to like it's going down, then from the waist to the upper bodies, waist to the lower part of the body, waist to the upper part of the body. This dart is taken because we also have both the two on this. This is on the bodies that we are plotting it, so that is why we have it like that. So, and then we are also going to be going ahead and also contour this right to the shoulder. You know, to put that, it is very important to contour all the unnecessary parts we need to contour. So right there, the shoulder is divided by 2 as well. Then the line is going to continue. Now don't use the sharp part of your ruler. Don't just go straight. I've seen so many people do that, even with students. Don't do that. Use the curve side because it's curvy, right? Your body is curvy from the bust. It's not going straight. They're not straight. Yeah, it's curvy. So for the flow to continue like that, and when you take your dart, it will help you to relax. So just go with the curvy side of your French curve or your pattern master you're using. Now let's take our bust dart. So for your bust dart, which is the side, so that is what we are doing now. So right now what we are doing is we are taking all the darts on these basic bodies. So your bust dart is the difference between your front shoulder to your waist and your back shoulder to your waist. For this particular one, front shoulder to the waist is 16 inches, back shoulder to the waist is 15 inches. 16 minus 15, 1 inch. And that is why 1 inch is put on the bust dart there. So now I want to contour the shoulder. And then I'm just going to be contouring by 1. 1 is okay because I'm working with medium. So if you want to, if it is large, you can contour by 1.5. If it's small, you can contour by 0.75. Okay, but this particular is 1 inch. Whatever measurements you take on the shoulder, you're going to be replacing it back on the armhole tip side. Do you get it? Whatever you take there, right there, as I'm placing that pattern master, I've already taken 1 inch for the contour of the shoulder, so it will allow this flow to sit very well and everything to fall very well. So I'm going to return whatever I take there, and then I'm going to return it back to the tip of the shoulder like you're seeing it there. Now look at that. Now look at the way I'm going to be doing this now. So let me contour that. So as I'm drawing this line, let me quickly talk about why we are putting all this dart. So this is bodice dart. What we call bodice dart, it refers to any dart used to shape garments, including bust dart, standard waist dart, shoulder dart, double pointed dart. You know, it is different from, some people call the fisheye dart double bodice dart. No, bodice dart is all the darts that is taken on your garment. Now you can see I'm returning it back. I return it back. Exactly. Do that. Now you are going to blend it in back into your armhole, and that will serve as your new armhole curve. Reason being that if you're going to be doing like that, you're going to be short of your shoulder. The wideness of your shoulder, yes, you're going to be short with that. So, and then you don't want that to happen, right? So it is better for us to do what is right. Okay. Alright, so we just going to now input all our circumference measurements. So now that you have taken which is the sixth approach, that you have taken all your darts, next thing you want to insert all your circumference measurement plus the dart intake. Don't forget, all the darts you take, you're going to turn it back, except for the bust dart, because it's a reduction that we are trying to put to contour and to make sure that our pattern sits well and it will affect in the results of our clothing. So right now I want to input all the circumference measurements, which is divided by 4, plus the ease allowance. Following the ease allowance standard, you can watch the video to learn how to do that in the measuring calculation, and also the dart intake. So that is what I'm doing there right now. So all the measurements, all my circumference measurements plus the ease allowance, I'm putting there right there. Then I'm going to go ahead right now, and then I'm going to connect my lines. Okay, so I'm going to connect all my lines just like you're seeing there right now. So I'm going to plot in all my lines, okay, from your chest line to my bust line. So the bust circumference measurements I use is the same thing I'm using for the chest line. Reason being, I didn't measure my chest, so I can also put it for the chest line. So that is what I have right there now. So I want to extend my dart leg. Okay, so yes, my side dart leg. back. Okay, so you can see that. So that is it. You can see our front bodice is almost ready. So I'm trying to through my darts here, so I'm teaching you how to through the darts over there. So train the darts will not make you to be short of your fabric when you cut. So I just want to through my dart, so it's my dart will not go inside and it will show the thread very well. So that is it. So I'm trimming my darts right there. Great. So after trimming my dart, that was when I now remembered that wow, I didn't plan putting seam allowance on this project, but I just need to put it because of you. You may want to make a pattern like this and then you need to put seam allowance and then you're wondering how. So that's how to put your seam allowance. Determine the measurement you want. So there I just use 1. So you can see I just added 1 to all the lines because that is the seam allowance I need for this project. I just need 1 inch. So if you need about 2 inches, about 3 inches for your seam allowance, so you can rightly go ahead and also repeat the same process, putting the same thing on here. So it depends on what you want. So the seam allowance used here is 1 inch, and then I've used my pencil to draw it out. Then I'm going to be using my marker to outline this for you to see this. Do you know what is amazing about basic bodice? It is just when you have the perfect one, you can transform it into any other top, because that is the base. That is what you need to transform it to your top, your wrap dress, your jacket, your anything. Just name them. Just transfer them into that. So I'm trying to add my seam allowance. So that's my seam allowance. You know, Mary Adedoyin is my name, and Hand Lead Fashion Store, Those Fashions Academy, where we help you to give your creativity expressions that are simple, detailed, and timely classes. If you are new to this channel, stay tuned, subscribe, don't go away, more are coming. This is just episode 1. You can imagine when we get to episode 100. Okay, so just stay tuned to learn and to learn and to learn. Right here as I'm speaking right now, you can see I'm connecting on my lines to meet up with my seam allowance. So I'm speaking right now. We are prepping for our summer class bootcamp 2025, where we are going to be having 60 per pack lesson and some practical one-on-one. Yes, that is one-on-one. You're going to have access to one-on-one. And for adults, for kiddies, for adults, imagine just $150, and for kiddies it is just $100. So if you want to be part of that class, so do well to message us right now. Send us mail at thosefashions1@gmail.com. Yes, thosefashions1@gmail.com. Now I'm done drafting the front, and then I want to rightly place the back also beside this. Okay, so you can see that is why I have my paper very wide over there. So I'm going to place my back. So in placing your back, I want to put my circumference. So right now I'm checking my circumference measurement, the largest part of my circumference, which is the hip. That's what I'm checking, because I'm also going to be plotting my zipper allowance. So you can see, so I used the hip circumference to create this line, so it will help me as a guide to have this right beside it and not wasting too much paper. So I just drew my line. So just checking my circumference, largest circumference I have, and then I just put this right there, over there. Perfect. So that is the line. So that will now be my margin line for my back. That is where my back, center back, is going to be. So it's like opposite to each other. Center front is on the other side, center back is on this side. So it is right from that line. I'm going to be measuring my shoulder, just like the same thing we did for the front. Okay, so don't forget, it's more like the same thing we did for the front. So my shoulder 8 inches. Great. Okay, and then I slant by half an inch. I told you before, I'm going to be slanting my back by half an inch for my shoulder slant, and then for the front I slant by 1 inch. Okay, so that is what I just did there. So right now I'm going to be, so for the back you only need your chest line. You don't need your bust line. No bust, right? You don't need your under bust. Is the chest line and the waist line. So I'm going to be extending this line for my chest line, and then I'm trying to confirm. Yes, you can confirm, because sometimes you may not know that your ruler has kindly slant or bent, and you don't want your pattern to be tampered with. We want to have accurate lines. Yes, great. And you may not do that. You can just measure again. Okay, so always confirm your lines, your measurements, your calculations, everything, to make sure and don't forget, make your mistake too. Use your pencil, make a mistake, clean it and do it again. So it's not by mistake, it is by learning. You're learning by doing that. So just relax with yourself. So I just plotting all the lines, I extended all the lines, so like I said over there, so you can see I have limited lines for my back. Back doesn't really have much thing to deal with, so it's just few. And then I'm going to be squaring this down to my chest line over there. So don't also forget to also label your lines appropriately, okay? So you can label all your lines. So now let's input our neckline as well. So for the neckline for the back, you're also going to be using 3 for the on the shoulder slang. But when we talk about the depth is just going to be 1 inch, okay? So for your back is not 3, except you want a low back. But for a standard basic body, so it's just 1. So it is 3 by 1 for the back, 3 by 3 for the front. But don't also forget to also divide your bust circumference by 3 to get where you're going to be putting it on the shoulder line exactly. Some might be 3.5, some might be 3.25, some might be 3 points. No, it depends, 3.75. So do your bust circumference divided by 12 to know where your rightly bust is going to stay. So it's not to choke you on your neck and to look so fitted and perfect. So right now I'm writing out the label. So label, please always label. So this also helps you to know, to keep track of what you are also doing as well. Then let's go ahead and put our darts. So after doing your shoulder slant, your armhole square down, do your dart. So my dart is now going to be going to my chest line now, not my bust line. So you can see for the back, that is the difference. So that is my nipple to nipple distance that is being divided by 2. And then for the dart intake on the back, it is just 1 inch. It's okay. You don't need much contour on the back. It's just little because it doesn't have much work like the front, which is with the bust. So I'm putting my dart just like same process, same thing we did for the front we are doing here. And then from my shoulder, from my waistline to where the dart is on the other side of the lower side of the dart is about 3.5. This 0.5 you put on your skirts, on your pants and all that, okay? So that is what I just did there. It is 3.5 down from my waistline to that part over there. So that is it. So I've rightly placed my dart. Hello, if you are new to this channel, subscribe right now. Just click on the subscribe button. Don't go. Now go ahead, pause this video, go there and subscribe right now. So you'll be the first to get notified anytime we upload the video. So for this, we're also going to be putting the shoulder darts. Now you're going to be asking, so I just divide my shoulder darts by 2. And then for the shoulder darts for the back, for the back, you don't need much. We are just going to put in little. For the width, it is just it's vary from 0.5 to about 1 inch. It's 0.5 for small, it's 0.75 for medium, 1 for large, okay? Small 0.5, medium 0.75, large is 1 inch, okay? So when you divide your measurement by 2, so because this is medium and I'm working with 0.75, so 0.75 divided by 2, what am I going to have there? So that is what I rightly placed there. Half of 0.75 on one side, half of 0.75 on the side. That is about 0.336. Yes, 365. So that is what I did there. So if you're working with centimeter, also go ahead with centimeter. Be consistent in whatever you're using. Then for the depth, it is just 4 inches. But for this one, I just do 3.5. So for the depth, average use, it is 4 inches, which is 10 centimeter. So ask me why we are putting a shoulder dart. A shoulder dart on the back body shapes the fabric over the shoulder blades, improving fit, comfort and movement. It helps the garment lay smoothly over the back, accommodate shoulder slope and give a more detailed professional look. Exactly, you just want it. You can see it improves fit, comfort and movement. So also put your shoulder dart, it is needed there. Then whatever you put there, return it back to the tip of your armhole. Okay, so I returned it back and that is when I now use it to create my armhole. Because my armhole, I didn't go in about half an inch, same with the front, because it is quite different from the front. The front is taken in because of the bust, and the back it is don't need too much of contour, right? So now I want to measure my circumference before I now allow my armhole to now come to meet there. So that is about 10 inches for my circumference. Then my armhole is going to be meeting it there. So I will complete my armhole line. Don't forget your shoulder. If you take your shoulder dart, return it back. Every dart you take, return them back. Okay? Because when you're making your fabric, you're going to be looking at it like, what is going on right here? Okay, so that is what I just did, and then you can see I'm returning back my dart after taking the measurement, and then I'm going to be marking it out. Then I do the same thing for the hem and the base. Now, those Portions Academy help you to give your creativity expression. We help you to awaken that expression that is inside of you, the creativity that is inside of you. Yes, we offer online classes. It is online academy, sewing classes, crafts, whatever it is, even therapy classes, we have it for you. It is learn at your pace. Anytime you're ready, any day you're ready, we are there for you. Classes are to be taught at your own pace. Just let us know, then we schedule for you. We can have a meeting 2 times a week, 3 times a week, once a week. It depends on you, but it is just 1 hour per session, so it doesn't take much of your time, and you're going to have amazing time and beautiful designs. So why not message us now? Let's help you to bring them to life. And this is it. So I'm putting my seam allowance at the side of this body, so that is what I'm doing right there. Okay, so all my seam allowance are to be put. That is 1 inch seam allowance. So that is what I'm putting right there. Okay, you can see perfect. So we have our bodies. Wow. So now the next thing we want to do is the zipper. So for your zipper, you can do 2 inches, but yeah, I just did 1 inch. So let us contour the zipper line area. So on your waistline, go in by half an inch and then use it to contour. So half an inch, you're going to draw it up half an inch. So you're also going to be creating that curve on the back. If you are not going to be putting, if you did not contour your zipper allowance at the back around the waistline, there is going to be a bulge at the back when you put your zipper. So you know your back is not straight, it's kind of goes in, yeah, in out you get that, right? So that's why you have to put your darts, you have to contour the darts at the back. So that is what I did there. So that is, I just went in by half an inch from the waistline, on the waistline there, around the waistline, and then I contour it up to help me allow my zipper to flip flat. Like I said, I use just 1 inch for the zipper allowance here, but you can go ahead and use 2 inches. So I can now do my neckline. You're going to notice that before I didn't put my neckline, I just cut it out. So now I'm going to now do my neckline curve. Reason why I didn't do that before was that I want to add the zipper allowance, and then I connect all the curve together so they will just look perfect and just right like we want it. Okay, like I said, summer classes boot camp for 2025, it is $100 for kiddies and $150 for adults. So if you're interested, just let us know. 16 lessons, powerful lessons. And if there is any other time that you are not just, it's not summer class, and then you want to do, maybe you want to do 10, let us know. If it's only 10 lessons you can do, let us know. If it's 5 you can do, let us know. Just message us now. And please make use of this video. So now let me quickly go into doing the facing. So let's do the facing. So for the facing, you're going to be putting facing on your neckline. You can use bias for your facing. Then you can also use your fabric for your facing to make sure that it neats. So for facing, it is just 2 by 3 inches I did. So 2 inches on the shoulder, then 3 inches for the depth. That is 2 inches for the width, 3 inches for the depth. 2 inches for the width, 3 inches for the depth. 2 inches for the width, 3 inches for the depth. So that is going to be starting from where your neckline is being cut. So that is where the facing is going to be rightly placed. So that's why we are drafting it. When we are making our pattern, it is good to put all the details we need for that project on the pattern. Okay, so that is what we just did here right now. So now go ahead and label your pattern. This is my back bodice and this is my front bodies. So label it and also appropriate that this is to be cut on fold. So that symbol over there is showing that it is cut on fold for the front, and the back you're going to be having 2 pieces. It's not going to be cut on fold, so it's going to be 2 pieces for the back. So put all the details on your pattern, including your name and the date to draft your pattern. It is very beautiful. It's a great memory for you to always review and see what you have done so far. Now let's cut. So now we are going to be cutting this basic bodice. Our basic bodice is set, so let's cut this out right now. So we are just going to go ahead and cut. Don't cut the facing line. We are going to be using our tracing wheel to trace it out. So I'm putting size on this, that this is for medium and it is within the range of size 8-10 can use this pattern for their project, which is going to be fit, except for probably some parts that are bigger, which can always be hotter. But this template that is used here can be used for 8 to within the range of 8 to 10 for the medium measurements I use. So when you are cutting, so carefully separate it, just relax. Okay, so carefully separate it, have fun doing this. So carefully separate your back and the front. Now go ahead and cut your basic neckline. Don't cut the facing. No, we are not cutting the facing. We are just going to be using our tracing wheel to outline it out and cut it on another paper. Don't forget to cut your margin line that you added before too, because it's an addition to your measurement. So don't forget to cut the margin line. Now go ahead and then we are going to be slashing the shoulder for the front. So for the front shoulder, we are going to be closing that shoulder, and then it's going to be transferred. That dart is going to be transferred to the bust dart. So I've slashed it in the middle, and then I'm going to be closing it. So but before you close it, remember to cut your bust dart. Now look at where your dart is going to be facing. Okay, so know where your dart legs are to be facing when you are taking your dart intake. Rightly there. So remember to cut your bust dart before. You can see I'm struggling to open it, and I remember that I've not oh my god, I've not cut my bust dart, so that's why I now cut it now. So now in cutting the side, the bust dart, now it is easy. Wow, beautiful. You guys see that? Super easy. So the dart has been successfully transferred to the bust dart. So that is that over there. So and then I'm going to be now removing the remaining dart on the bust dart. So you can see it is rightly contoured and it's now placed on the side. So now I want to fold that line in very well, so it's not going to be confusing further, because I slashed in the middle. Okay, because that is going to be going out. Okay, so I just want that single line. You can see just perfect, and then rightly tape it very well so it will not be torn into pieces. You want your pattern drafting to look well and be beautiful, just like the same way you have it there. So that is it there. So I've rightly done that. So now the next thing you want to do, I've also cut my back out. Next thing you want to do is to now remove your double pointed dart, which is also called the fish eye dart. So remove the dart. So you remove all the darts. Okay, so when you're putting it on your fabric, you can now use your chalk to outline this out. If you need a quick tutorial on how to do this, you can reach out to Those Fashions Academy, and we are going to be guiding you on how to do this. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this channel. So right now I'm going to also remove that of the front, and then boom, it's done. So now let me show you how to do the facing. So now to do your facing, now you're going to look for another paper, put under where your facing is, right there. Okay, tape it down. You can use a masking tape. So now you're going to be using your tracing wheel. What is tracing wheel? Tracing wheel is a tool used in pattern drafting that is used to trace pattern lines from one pattern paper to another. It makes your job to be easier, faster, and effective. You can always use it to copy your lines rather than starting all over again, like what I'm doing here right now. So you can see I use tracing wheel to just trace out that line for the facing. Now you're going to go ahead and use your marker to draw it out. So it is whatever you cut now, you're going to be now using to cut your facing, that you're going to be using to turn in your neckline. If you don't want to use a bias piping, like you don't want the bias to be showing, you want your stitching line to be showing, you just want a facing. So that is it right there. And if you want the facing to be more than this, it is not standard. I just do 2x3. If you want it to go down than 2x3, you can do 3x4. It depends on you. But for this one, it's going to work perfectly for what I want for this project. So the facing, that is the facing right there. So after tracing it, it was easier to see. Yeah, great. So now this is my back facing. Label it so you're not going to miss it for the front, because your back facing is quite different from that of the back, and we're going to be cutting 2 pieces of this. So I put cut on fold, but this is going to be having zipper, so that means we are going to be slashing through it. So it's going to be slashed. So I repeat the same process for the front. Perfect. Now we have our Basic Bodice Block. It is time for us now to get ready to begin to do so many amazing projects with this particular pattern. You transform it into so many particular projects. If you watch this video and you know you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. That is the only thing you can do now. Subscribe, watch this video, share. Please share with your friends, comment. The more the likes, the merrier. You know, creativity and the community is large. We have fun as a family making this amazing project, seeing our garments, and then enjoying having an amazing time. Subscribe, hit the like button, and if you are coming for the summer classes, reach out to us and let us know. You can see perfectly right, we have the complete facing, the back, and the front bodies. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to drop a comment. If you have questions, also do let us know. If you make a project with this pattern, also do it to message us, submit it. It's going to encourage us to also do more. And watch out for the next episode. Thank you for watching the Basic Bodice Block. As we see you in our next video. Now I'm pinning my signature. Pin your signature on your pattern and then put full stop that this is my project and also date it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, comment, like and share. See you in our next video. Bye.